Hey guys, how's it going, everybody? It's Monday. Surprise! We have a surprise stream tonight, and that is because uh, we have vacation Bible school going on, and that really did put a damper on the available bodies at softball tonight, and so we did not have a softball game tonight. So my wife is helping run VBS, so we were just part of the delay was me talking to the kids because my son has more energy than any child or human being or thing on the planet should. Um, and so I just needed to go over some things with him. So a lot of changes. You might notice a little bit different camera angle. I'm trying out a little bit of different things. I cut my beard back a little bit, and I got some new headset. I got a new headset I'll put on order. It's a professional one. Look at guys. I went online and I read an article and it said that this one was pretty good. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Stuart Davis. I'm a flawed man of God. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I am trying to do is talk about Jesus. So, if you are interested in starting a relationship, if you're interested in learning more about him, being more of a Christian, and cutting through the stereotypes that go along with Christianity, welcome to the program. Please tune in, get your fill of what information you need, and hopefully start a relationship with God that will get you saved and possibly even more along the way. Now, what we talk about here is biblical readings. We talk about issues with a Christian from a Christian perspective, whether it is a Christian-centered issue or just a general issue whatsoever. Things that happen inside the church and outside of the church. So, like I said, come along, be in the chat, be part of the group. We have plenty of folks here that are awesome and contribute day in and day out, and we appreciate it. And you can be like that as well. So, with that said, hello, everybody. How's it going? Blaine, I see that you're in here. I was looking through your stuff. I want to like I said, I got a new headset and mic just to see how that works. And just doing that to see if it helps with the audio quality at all. But I did get your OBS DMs, and if I don't like the sound of it going through, it is if I don't like the sound quality going through, then maybe then I'm going to download that OBS and really take note of what you said. So I appreciate it. I appreciate what you sent me, and I think hopefully once I put that apply it, then we will be all right. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Nico's first, Wild Weeb second. Things are looking pretty normal for a change, except for the night. Nico's still got that terrible profile pickup. Nernea said, what is it a number? A numeral by any other name would still count as well. Nico Layton, Catman. Better than Cat Girl, I guess. Wild Weeb. Yeah, I missed a stream. Yeah, that's something else. Derek's in here. Welcome, Derek. Happy to have you. Beard looks good, my guy. Look, my wife does not like this. She got upset with me this morning when I came downstairs and I had it cut because that's when I did it. But it does get a little itchy, gets a little unkempt. I've got some reasons behind cutting it as well. I'll let you guys know as time goes on. This mic does make it difficult to drink. It's just tea, guys. Just tea tonight. But thank you, Wild Weeb. Glad. I think this is the length I usually enjoy having it the most. It's very easy to maintain. I think it looks good. Get some blonde hair, really like platinum blonde hairs growing in, which is weird because I haven't been blonde since I was a little kid. But every once in a while, you get it so blonde it looks white. It's very weird. Nernea says I look like a pilot. Funny you should say that. I probably look like I did when I wore this in the Army. Plain offering other advice, and No, his profile picture is not fantastic. It is me with cat ears. It should never exist. And Nernea said I look 60% less hobo axe murderer, which is good because I at least am not a hobo. No, and no, you are not going to you're not going to see me shave this beard off all the way either. Every once in a while I'll do it, but I don't like a naked face on me. Doesn't look that good. So anyway, so tonight, like I said, VBS was going on. And look at that. Look, if you're not actively part of a church, or if you haven't been and you haven't experienced Vacation Bible School, it is an awesome thing that happens every year across very many different churches at different times during the summer, right at not long after school lets out for the year. And basically, it's a week-long program that a church will throw for kids to go and really just have a good time together and learn about the Bible. So, if you've got kids, or if you're thinking about having kids, and you're in a church, or you want them to get involved in something like that, highly recommend it. My wife, I did some volunteer work last year. My wife is doing a lot of it. She usually runs it because she's very highly organized, and that's one of her great talents. And so she was doing that tonight. But my son, I was just telling you, talking to him, just a real difficult time managing his energy and keeping his hands to himself. And it drives my wife to distraction when she's trying to do other things. So it is just something you got to sit down and coach them through it. It's difficult at this age, and he is very much like me. Physical touch is part of his part of his so much part of his makeup. He gets as many hugs as he could possibly ask for at home, and that he doesn't understand always that doesn't translate as well and outside of the home, when there's people he doesn't know or doesn't know him very well, and he wants to just hug them because he's got so much energy and he's happy. So good problems to have, just we got to deal with. People don't deal with physical touch very well sometimes. Look with your eyes, not your hands. I haven't heard that one in a long time, Nernath, but that is something my parents also said, and I totally forgot about that. That goes along with the look but don't touch as well. It's just going to be repetitive coaching with him, and look, he's 8. He's 8. It can be much worse things. I was a much worse kid with him than him. The parents couldn't even take me to VBS back then. I was out of control. So, like I said, good problems to have. If I'm going to have a problem, I'd rather my kid love too much than not love enough, or have some sort of issue that is not wholesome. So tonight, I figured. So my initial plan was, and one of the reasons why I was streaming tonight is tomorrow I was going to take my son and my dad to go see the new Top Gun movie, but I did forget it was Vacation Bible School, and I do want him to go. So we are going to stream. I'll probably stream the night I do take him to the movies, but it's going to be a late stream that night. So just be on the lookout. It's probably going to be either Friday this week or early next week. Be on the lookout for a stream like that. And like I said, I've got some traveling coming up that I need to schedule for work. So that might affect some of the streams. So just be patient, roll with it, and we'll keep this working. I'm not giving up, guys. And don't worry if you see some of this stuff happen. I have to make sure that my other life gets my professional life and my personal life are taken care of first, and that way I can do this, which I'd very much consider a hobby that I enjoy, so I can make sure that this continues to happen. So just be patient and be flexible with me, folks. I appreciate that y'all come in here. Now tonight we're gonna do what I wanted to do Friday. That's finish out in Deuteronomy. And what I should have done Friday before I went on that stream with Ridgedale brand is talk about Father's Day. So I'll be brief about Father's Day. I love it. I love that it happens, but to me, it's a day of thanksgiving for the things that I have that have made me a father and given me a family that I can cherish and hold tight to the point where um, I have to consciously make the effort to prioritize God above them because they mean that much to me, and as much as I mean to them, that's certainly a blessing. I have a dad. He's been in my life. He's been in my life for as long as I've been alive. My parents are still married, luckily for me. I don't have my childhood issues were all of my own doing and my own personal problems. But my dad and I have, times had great difficulties getting along and seeing eye to eye. But one of the things I've never doubted, um, in my core, though emotionally sometimes I would think differently, but in my core I always knew Dad had my back. He loved me, and he did and made the decisions he thought that would best serve me, not necessarily what I was looking for at the time, but would best set me up for success in his eyes. So I love him to death, and he is. I know that he is. That Father's Day is a great reminder to him that he has got two sons, um, that both love him and are have established themselves with their own family and given him a fair amount of grandkids. So it is good to be him. It is good to be me, and that's my thoughts on Father's Day. I don't want a card. I don't want necessarily recognition. It is a time where I can go back and be thankful for the father that I have, and be thankful that I have been able to um, be thankful that I am also a dad because I found a woman willing to put up with me, which is a job in and of itself. So, with that said, we're going to close out on Deuteronomy. And if you're asking me what I'm seeing, um, if you're wondering, my eyes will dart around a lot on this because I have actually two very large screens that I use. I use this for work. I use this for gaming. I use this. This is where I sit and do all of my professional and pastime work. I've got two 43-inch monitors, and so they are very large. That's why you see so much brightness coming at me. Um, and there you have it. JB Flotsam, welcome to the chat. Good to see you here. If kids are and Lane says, if kids are arrows in the quiver, what are grandkids? Bullseyes, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, but everybody I talk to who is older than me and has grandkids says it's even better. Grandkids are even better. So get married and have kids, folks, if you haven't already. That's my advice. Deuteronomy. So where we last left off, we were talking about Moses dying. This is our last two chapters in Deuteronomy. Joshua takes over after this. And so if you see me pause a little bit as well, I've also got ridiculously bad heartburn tonight for some reason. Taking some meds. I've got the GERD, and it is acting up tonight. All right, Deuteronomy 33. Moses blesses the tribes. Okay, seems something very familiar. This sounds a lot like how Jacob said goodbye to his sons at the end of his life, who would end up becoming the founders of the 12 tribes of Israel. So Moses blesses the tribes. This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, pronounced on the Israelites before his death. He said, the Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. Surely it is you who love the people. All the holy ones are in your hand. At your feet they all bow down, and from you receive instruction. The law that Moses gave us, the possession of the assembly of Jacob. He was the king over Jeshurun when the leaders of the people assembled, along with the tribes of Israel. Let Reuben live and not die, nor his people be few. And this he said about Judah. Hear, Lord, hear, Lord, the cry of Judah. Bring him to his people. With his own hands he defends his cause. Oh, be his help against his foes. If you don't know already, from Judah comes David, and from the line of Judah comes David, or from the tribe of Judah comes David, and from the line of David comes Jesus. About Levi, he said, your Thummim and Urim belong to your faithful servant. You tested him at Massa. You contended with him at the waters of Meribah. He said of his father and mother, I have no regard for them. He did not recognize his brothers or acknowledge his own children, but he watched over your word and guarded your covenant. He teaches your precepts to Jacob and your law to Israel. He offers incense before you and whole burnt offerings on your altar. Bless all his skills, Lord, and be pleased with the work of his hands. Strike down those who rise against him, his foes, till they rise no more. So what we're here, this really just seems like they're talking about Levi as the Levites, as the tribe, as how they kind of they're kind of separated from the group. I could be wrong about this. I don't necessarily know, but what it sounds like is he's referring to the Levites in general as being a little bit set apart from the rest of the tribes because they are the priests. About Benjamin, he said, let the beloved of the Lord rest secure in him, for he shields him all day long, and the one the Lord loves rests between his shoulders. About Joseph, he said, my man Joseph, may the Lord bless his land with the precious dew from heaven above, and with the deep waters that lie below, with the best the sun brings forth, and the finest the moon can yield, with the choicest gifts of the ancient mountains, and the fruitfulness of the everlasting hills, with the best gifts of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwelt in the burning bush. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. In majesty, he is like a firstborn bull. His horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he will gore the nations, even those that at the ends of the earth. Such are the 10,000s of Ephraim, such are the thousands of Manasseh. So you're talking about Joseph here, much like Joseph the person, and then at the very end we see it refer to how Joseph's two oldest, Ephraim and Manasseh, kind of split and became the two tribes of Israel. Because I think the Levites aren't really counted in the 12 tribes because they're kind of the priests that float in and out of there. So that makes 11. Then you take out Joseph and add 2. Let's do some math there. It's Monday. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to make that make sense. About Zebulun, he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and you, Issachar, in your tents. They will summon peoples to the mountains, and there offer the sacrifices of the righteous. They will feast on the abundance of the seas, on the treasures hidden in the sand. About Gad, he said, blessed is he who enlarges Gad's domain. Gad lives there like a lion, tearing at arm or head. He chose the best land for himself. The leader's portion was kept for him. When the heads of the people assembled, he carried out the Lord's righteous will and his judgments concerning Israel. About Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's cub springing out of Bashan. I'd be a little upset about that if I was Dan. You look at all those things. Like, obviously, Joseph's going to get a lot written about him. Benjamin, he's kind of short on him. But all these guys get a lot of stuff written about them. And then Dan is like, hey, he's a lion's cub springing out of Bashan. probably kind of awkward. Naphtali, he said, Naphtali is abounding with the favor of the Lord and is full of his blessing. He will inherit southward to the lake. Short, but sounds a lot better than Dan's. Dan, Dan's tribe has a lot of problems as we go forward. A lot of problems come out of Dan's tribe. So maybe there's a reason for that. About Asher, he said, most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him bathe his feet in oil. The bolts of your gates will be iron and bronze, and your strength will equal your days. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides across the heavens to help you, and on the clouds in his majesty. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He will drive out your enemies before you, saying, destroy them. So Israel will live in safety. Jacob will dwell secure in a land of grain and new wine, where the heavens drop dew. Blessed are you, Israel. Who is like you? A people saved by the Lord? Here is your shield and helper, and your glorious sword. Your enemies will cower before you, and you will tread on their heights. Is that 12? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you count this about, I guess this was about Reuben. We're short. Who did he leave out? Who did he leave out? Who did he leave out? Dude. Who got left out? Hold on. Second census. Let's go count that. Reuben. All right, we saw that. Simeon was left out. Simeon was left out. Gad, we got. Judah, we got. I feel like I heard Issachar. Zebulun, we counted. We got Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim. Benjamin, we got. Dan, we got. Barely. Asher, we got. Naphtali, we got. Yeah. So I guess Issachar and Simeon, I think we're missing. Let's go back. We got Reuben, Judah, Levi, Benjamin, Joseph, Zebulun, Gad, Dan, Naphtali, Asher. You got left out. That's bad. What did they do? Ugh. Do you think that there were some people out there who was like, wait a minute, what about us? Moses is 120 some years old at this point. Maybe he just forgot about him. My grandma used to send us a check. The joke was always it was post dated, and there would be a note in our birthday card to make sure we didn't cash the check until a certain date. So make sure the funds were in her bank. And this is a woman who inherited $1 million, and never mind, that's a whole different story. But post-dated check. So she would send us $1 for every year, right? So if you were turning 8, you would be 8, and then after a while, it just could not remember how old anybody was. So you'd get random amounts of money from her. It was never a lot. It was never more. You were like turning 14, you'd get a check for 10, a happy 10th birthday, and you're like, oh man. Maybe he forgot. That'd be something to find out about. Why does Moses leave out these guys, these tribes, these 2 tribes? The death of Moses. Then Moses climbed Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab to the top of Pisgah across from Jericho. There the Lord showed him the whole land from Gilead to Dan, all of Naphtali, the territory of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the Mediterranean Sea, the Negev and the whole region from the valley of Jericho, the city of palms, as far as Zoar. Then the Lord said to him, This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said, I will give it to your descendants. I will let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over into it. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in Moab, as the Lord had said. He buried him in Moab, in the valley opposite of Beth Peor. But to this day, no one knows where his grave is. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. The Israelites grieved for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days, until the time of weeping and mourning was over. Now Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to him and did what the Lord had commanded Moses. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, who did all those signs and wonders the Lord sent him to do in Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his officials and to his whole land. For no one has ever shown the mighty power or performed the awesome deeds that Moses did in the sight of all Israel. Which is true. No one does the things that Moses does until Jesus shows up. Not to the degree, not to the extent that Moses does. Jesus comes and does all sorts of stuff. He's obviously he outshines Moses, but in the Old Testament, there's nobody like him. And you're going to see, and we've seen awesome guys come before him: Noah, Joseph, Abraham. You see awesome people follow him: Joshua in his wake, Daniel, David, Solomon, people who do great things, Elijah and Elijah, or Elijah and Elisha, who I always get the two confused. They are some awesome guys that we're going to run into, and women too, but really the folks who are in and out, like who just doing, who are better documented, are the gentlemen in the Old Testament. And Moses really, and when it comes to deeds, he outshines all of them. Outshines all of them. And I think that's the testament there. Who buried? God buried Moses. And no one would know where to find him. No one know where to find him. And that's probably how Moses would have liked it. Be like, don't come back bothering or pestering me. I spent 40 years shepherding you ingrates. I don't want y'all to come back and talk to me. I'm hanging out with God now. That's where I need to be. That's where I want to be. And then no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, who the Lord knew face to face. That's why I got to say, Moses is the man. Moses is the man. He's not the only one we're going to run into, but what we've covered over these last few books from Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, we have followed the path. We have followed the accounts of Moses as he tries to do the best he can. So he tries to do the best he can for his people, and his people do not appreciate neither him nor God. I'm not saying everybody. Like I said, there's probably, they might even say the majority of the people of the Israelites might be very righteous in following God. But man, do they make it tough on him. They make it awfully tough on him. And now he's in a better place. Wild Weave says, poor Dan. Poor Dan. Now I'm worried more about Issachar and Simeon. It's got completely yeeted out of that blessing. I wonder if it was something they did during the 40 years or if they were just the most annoying ones. Dan's really the worst from all accounts. Dan's one of the worst tribes as far as behavior wise, at least as far as Israel is concerned. Israel and Judah are concerned. I think Dan means troop, so there might have been a lot of them. There were a lot of Dan. So they made up a disproportionate number of troublemakers. Maybe. I wonder if there's more of a I don't know. The best thing to do, to me, the more illustrative one is the one that Jacob does at the end of his life. Jacob's on his deathbed, and he's got all of his sons around him, and he's talking to them, and he's blessing them, and it almost looks like he's prophesizing the tribes of each of them. And Eric and Roland and I did a 2-part episode on that, and it was really good. So if you go back, it was one of the first. It wasn't the first. The first one we did was the Nephilim. The one we did after that was 12 tribes of Israel. So if you go far enough back, you can find it. And it's a 2-part series. He does some Eric really pulled out all the stops and really did a cool job illustrating what the different tribes meant and how they kind of behaved throughout the Old Testament and into the New Testament going forward. So that's Deuteronomy, so folks. Moses is the ultimate Easter egg then, huh? I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily means. I don't know. I think Moses he's the ultimate character. Porcupine Mayhem. Howdy, chat. What's happening? Hey, welcome to the party, pal. John Smith. Fun fact about Moses, he's not allowed into the promised land at first, but at Jesus' transfiguration, he gets to enter the promised land and see the only one to fulfill the law he delivered. What do you mean by that, John? And I'm not saying that because I doubt you. I just don't know that. I don't know that part. At least it's not occurring to me. What do you mean by he is allowed into the promised land once Christ undergoes his transfiguration? And yeah, no, Christ does fulfill the law. Christ does fulfill the law. And he says so. I'm not here to change the law, but fulfill it. That's Deuteronomy. So we are now going to be out of the Pentateuch. And now we are going to start on some new and very exciting. Oh, okay. Jesus was talking with Moses and Elijah on the mountain. Okay, yeah. All right. That's true. I get it. Thanks, John. Thanks, Nernath. So yeah, I guess he is in there. I guess he is in there. But now that we're done with the Pentateuch, things start to go a little bit faster in many respects. The only place that it's going to get a little bit more dry, Job is a great book. It monologues a ton. And Chronicles it repeats a lot of what for First and Second Chronicles repeats a lot of what is already stated in First and Second Kings. We'll address those as we get to it. But these books come a little bit faster at you, and it's good. That's good. That's good because now we're going to pick up a lot more on the narrative side, and so it makes it a little bit more compelling from a listener standpoint and from a discussion standpoint, because we're not dealing so much with laws and censuses and stuff like that. We're taking about we're talking, instead of talking about those things, we're talking about, hey, this stuff is happening. This is the goings on. Here's where the Israelites are screwing up. Here's where the Israelites are asking for forgiveness. Here's this, insert biblical hero here, and this is what he does. This is why we look up to him, and yeah, that's good stuff. Porcupine had a great Father's Day. Had a beer and a nap and a cigar. I think I saw that on Twitter. Porcupine, glad you did that. Glad you did that. It's a good time. It's a good time for relax. I relaxed a bit. Just had everybody loving on you when the kids come up and give you a big hug. You know what it's about. Dear Nath, wait until Isaiah. We are on chapter 37 of Doom and Destruction. I love Isaiah. Isaiah's so good. It might be my favorite of all the books of prophecy. Isaiah's so great. It's just so much, so full of wisdom, and very good. I will not be singing to what is it, To Everything, that old 70s hippie song that talks about what Isaiah says about there is a season for everything. I will not be singing that. Maybe I'll play in the background and get a channel strike or copyright strike or whatever the heck they do with it playing in the background. We'll see. But thank you. I know this has kind of been a choppy stream. This hasn't been my best production wise and presentation wise. I think it's a Monday. I think I'm just kind of off because it's Monday. And I kind of rushed to get on this all together, and now I've got to go. No, Nico. No, I'm not singing. I'm not going to sing. It's not what this new mic is for. This new mic is for prose. This new mic is for answering your questions and giving voice to your points that you give when you're like Nernaeth and you come across with a poignant thing to say, or you're informing me, or you're reminding me about things like, yeah, Moses was up on the mountain with Elijah and Jesus. Things that I forget. And like I said, I'm not a savant at this. I'm not super well read. I know a lot of things stick in my head, but I can't I'm not always going to be able to recall things. So I'm glad you guys are there to remind me when I'm tripping up over something. That's why the chat's there. Chat's there to correct the record in a non-Clinton way. So we need auto-tune for the singing. You need another person. You can go all the way over to Nick's channel and get him to sing. Get him. And then with that said, also, Nick, hope you had I know he's not in the chat, but I hope Nick had a very good Father's Day. I know it sounds like things were pretty hectic. He took some nights off streaming, which nobody deserves it more than him, to get some nights off and just recoup and get back at it. Because I know that you guys and myself are always interested in getting more content from him and being part of that chat. Maybe I'll tune a little. I might go into the chat a little bit for that at the beginning, since I'll probably be up to like 12:30 or 1 o'clock probably on my side. So maybe I'll pop in the chat and engage in a wee bit of degeneracy. Underneath, Stiff doesn't hang out with his wife. What a flake. Yeah. Probably not. It's one of those things where you spend hours. At least this is my perspective. You spend when you do it for a living, and it's not like me doing 40 minutes of it. And even then, a couple of things that distract me and everything, and it can affect, some of my presentation. You spend hours upon hours um, streaming, even if it's when you're the only one in the house awake. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So small things can happen. You can have a day where not everything goes your way, um, and it can affect things, and you might just need that break or whatnot. So, you know, it's all it's all gonna be good. Yeah, he said this week's supposed to be better. Yeah, hopefully he gets some rest. That's the one thing. It's one thing you always need to do. Um, One thing you always need to do is understand that um, if you need to take time and rest, go and do it. And I don't think he's very shy about it, but I don't think he's shy about doing it when he kind of when you hit that wall and you're just too fatigued. But I think he honestly enjoys the space that he has created, which is a space that it's like walking into a bar and hanging out and seeing people that you can converse with and have a conversation with, and you can talk about whatever latest topic of interest is, and have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? If you were kind of the ringleader of that, who wouldn't enjoy that and want to do that, especially when um, it's a source of income and it's your livelihood. That's awesome. That's an awesome space to live in. So, yeah, it can be a grift. He's going to be on and off for a week, then go to Anime Matsuri in Houston, then to the Caribbean for 2 weeks. Yeah, sounds like a summer of relaxation for him. And the Caribbean is nice. I need to get back down there. All in good time. All in good time. And with time, with that discussed, with that time, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. So, Nico, Nernaeth, Wild Weeb, Porcupine, John, as if I didn't say, I think I said Wild Weeb, Blaine, JB Flotsam, Derek F, and anybody else here who has been streaming and listening. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ears, and thank you for your insights. Love you guys, and I'm happy. I'm happy that you guys are turning in. You all have a good night, and you have a great week coming up. God bless. I see you, Mitch.